Hi, my name is Joel Dukes, and I'm an archaeologist for the Northeast Archaeological Resources Program. And I'm going to talk to you today about the metal detecting methods we used during the White Hill Field Quarters project. Metal detectors have not always been a traditional tool utilized by archaeologists, and the reason for that probably has a lot to do with the fact that they were popular with people who loot and destroy archaeological sites. In the last few decades, though, our profession has recognized them as a very useful tool in covering large landscapes, interpreting battlefields, and finding historic structures. Research indicated that the terrace above Harrison Creek as the likely location of the White Hill Field Quarters, but it's a large area, and metal detection was identified as one survey method that could potentially help us narrow down where the quarters were. Archaeological metal detection isn't random wandering around. We use a grid in order to help identify and control our survey. The survey grid we laid out over the Harrison Creek Terrace was used as a control for all the surveys: ground penetrating radar, resistivity, shovel test, and metal detection. We spent 5 days conducting 1 meter wide systematic transects within a grid of 10 by 10 and 20 by 20 meter blocks that were established over the site. We used high quality metal detectors with discriminating capabilities that were operated by archaeologists who were trained in their use. A metal detector that can discriminate is one that can tell you what type of metal you've targeted below the surface. While sweeping each transect, a sample of target locations were marked with blue pin flags. We covered 3,000 square meters with the metal detectors and identified over 100 targets to excavate. In order to limit the survey impact, small shovels were used to excavate the targets, and each target was assigned a unique number. Data such as depth, artifact type, and orientation were recorded. A robotic total station was then used to document the location of each excavated metal detector target. The locational data was then loaded into a GIS. As you might expect, since we were looking for structures, the majority of the metallic targets we sampled were architectural artifacts, primarily nails, which accounted for about 67% of the targets. Our metallic survey didn't just identify concentrations of nails where there might have been a structure, but also personal items like buttons, the kind of items that might indicate that the structures we found aren't barns or sheds, but maybe habitation sites. Our metallic survey also found items like these: pieces of forks and knives, utensils that help narrow down where a domestic structure is located, items that could have been used by the enslaved people who lived in the quarters. The artifacts in the metal detection survey are only a small sample of the material culture of enslaved Americans who lived and worked at White Hill Plantation. Using the GIS database, when we look at where items like the fork and the knife were found and compare the results to the ground penetrating radar data in the shovel test, we could start to get a better idea of where on the site future research should be focused. Thank you.